Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Trish Rock Show. And tonight we have an amazing guest who's put out this beautiful work and created this beautiful series, and it's Trish Rock. We all know and love Trish Rock, like what an amazing human, and just to have this show available for all the people that she shares and has had interactions with, and just the way she helps people through this particular channel. And I think it's awesome that Trish Rock is on the Trish Rock Show. And for me personally, knowing Trish, this lady is a warrior from within, a very beautiful, humble human being, an exceptional channeling ability. She has helped me so much on my path in such a beautiful way, as she's done with, I'm sure, with hundreds, possibly even thousands of people, because I think her work is like right in the background. The shifts she actually occurs, I think, are much greater than we all realise. And it was only recently that I realised how much of a great shift she has actually introduced into my life. So I'd love to welcome you all, Trish Rock.
Yay! You rock! Thank you.
So that's my personal opinion, Trish.
Wow.
What is it?
Yeah.
Let's start from the start. Talk to us about what Trish Rock does.
Well, it's interesting, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. You're the most beautiful friend and human and soul. Thank you. Well, you know what? We were just talking before, and really when you asked me that question, what I like to do is inspire people to live their best life. Now, there's a lot of healers and energy workers who, underneath everything they do, that is their objective as well, for people to live their best life. And it's also the journey I've been on, living my best life, and whatever I have needed to get over the hurdles, I then try to teach people as well. And, you know, it's taken an interesting it's been an interesting journey, and the road is never straight, as you know. But ultimately, underneath it all, I like to inspire people. And the interesting thing is, this is 10 years this year since I left my former life, and all I wanted to do then was inspire people in a greater way. I feel like I've come full circle now, and I really get that now, but it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? How we know, but we just don't know until we actually know.
Yeah, that is the truth.
Well,
and you know, we try to push time along, or we want things to happen now, but time works. Well, time's a construct, but you know, we get it when we're meant to get it, and we need that whole experience and that whole journey, because that's what gives us essence. That's what gives us the ability to really feel into and be compassionate about how someone else is feeling, and give them that movement forward. So it's all perfect.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. Actually, you do a lot of readings as well, and you've helped me with some stuff in the past, using your intuition and your ability in that regard as well. But what I found really interesting working with you was that your advice was really, it wasn't neutral, it wasn't go do this, it wasn't go do that, it was exactly what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about that. Like, how did you understand that part of yourself, and then how you actually use that to help people on their paths?
Yeah, well, that's been a journey too. But for most of my life in the nail salon industry, I was working one-on-one with people, and I was advising them. Even like from the age of 17, when I started in that industry, I was able to solve problems for people who back then I thought were really old, but actually my age now. And I'm like, wow, where does this come from? So I just thought everyone could do it. And then when I left that industry 10 years ago, because basically by then I could understand I was doing psychic readings. And I thought, okay, I want people to come to me for psychic readings, not to have their nails done. I've got a bigger message here of inspiring people and helping them find themselves. But when I when I stepped into that, I started also stepping into thinking that I had to be what other people are or do. And I lost myself a little bit along the way there. And once again, that's come full circle too. But with the readings, yeah, I don't really need the tools of the cards or the numbers or the colours or anything like that. But they're beautiful tools. But I can just tune in and I just feel or sense, or actually I get told, you know, what I need to say. I'm kind of like the messenger, I guess. I'm just the messenger. And when I trust that, the simplest of messages have the most profound effect. When I don't trust that and I feel that I have to be more, the messages get diluted. So I've really come to that point now where, like with you, if you were saying that last time when I gave you that message, to me it didn't feel significant. But it was, and I've come back to trusting that now, rather than thinking I'm not enough, I need to give more. I need to bring some mediumship skills in here to make me more credible. I need to bring this in to bring more credibility. I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, all of that stuff that we go through. And I've come back to that point now where I really say it as it is. I'm not I don't sugarcoat anything. And some people like that and some people don't. The people who do like it really appreciate it, because I'm not just fluffing things up. I'm like, no, this is the message for you today, and whether you want to bring it on board or not is up to you. And that's really where I stand now. And for me, that's freedom. And I also know that that is also the best and highest message for the person involved. And I'm doing them a disservice if I don't bring that forth to them, or if I do it in a way that might, please them a little bit more than
what they actually need.
Yeah, what they need. That's it.
I have to admit, the advice you gave me was what I needed to hear, but at the time it wasn't what I wanted to hear.
No.
And now I have to take steps in order to see that through as well, which is the hard part as well, isn't it? Like, it's the most challenging part. It's like, this is what you have to do. You go and do it. And so I've got choice now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And there's been many mentors over my years that probably been bashing their head against a wall, going, "Why doesn't she get it?" But until we're ready to hear it, we don't get it. But sometimes those messages that we do get from other people, maybe it might take a day, it might take a year. Eventually, it's kind of like, I get it now, and they're important. So I do express any messages that come up now for people. Sometimes they come from my inner knowing. Sometimes they come from the other person's guides, etc., or a past loved one. I don't really focus on where they come from. They come and I trust it, and I say it. And you do the same, Arthur. Wherever your knowingness. I mean, ultimately everything is all in the Akash. We know a lot of stuff. We just don't trust that we know it. So when we bring it forth, if you can do that with a trust, it delivers well. If you have that trust, yeah. So,
yeah, the body really gets in the way of it all, doesn't it?
And putting things in a box gets in the way. And we were just talking before, I really have come full circle in this 10 years, and this year's been really big for a lot of people, letting go of all the stuff that no longer serves us. And it's really obvious when you get out of your own way. It's really obvious what you've been blocking, because it all comes rushing in. But when you're in your own way, you can't see it, and it's frustrating. It's like, I'm not in my own way, and you're in denial.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's such a I wouldn't even say it's a balancing act. It's an interesting contrast. That's my new word, contrast. Yeah.
Oh, contrast. So, big word. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. All right. So you've you've learnt that you can channel and be psychic, and then what happened after that? What was the next phase for you?
The next phase for me was to, well, this is what I thought and this is what I did, was to earn money so that I could do this. I needed to earn money so that I could have this freedom in life and inspire people. So it's been a journey for me over the last 10 years of probably 3 or 4 businesses that I've started, lots of other ventures I've created, so many products. I mean, you know, to me, it's really quite easy, but and other people see that and they go, what? How did you get Chinese manufacturers? How did you do this? But that kind of stuff, I don't know. It's just really easy for me to do, and I don't know where that comes from. But I think it's the willingness to give things a go and say yes and figure out a way. But in doing all of that, up until probably a year or so ago, I was denying who I was. And underneath all that, on a subconscious level, I was saying to myself that I'm not good enough to earn money from this, so I need another source of income. So the last couple of years, I have stepped into who I am. I don't deny it anymore. I don't hide it. I don't say, oh, this is where I work, but you know, on my side hustle, I'm a psychic. I start with, I'm a psychic, I'm a seer, and you know, and this is also how I bring income in this particular way. So I've done that shift, but a really big shift has happened this year, and even up till last week. So it's quite fresh. And it's my birthday. Yesterday. Yeah. And 55.
Happy birthday. I didn't even wish for a happy birthday.
Yeah, so 55, which means lots of changes, and I'm really super excited, but I can see all that unfolding now. So over the last couple of months, I've really been changing my identity. I've been chasing this abundance. I've been chasing and chasing and never been able to step into it. And a few months ago, I'm like, you know what, it's enough. I need to just step into it. I just need to be that. So I've found a way to be that, and everything has been shuffling around. The universe has been changing everything around for me. Some of it has really, you know, I have felt quite defeated, but I've had to get to that energy level of no resistance to allow the new to come in. And so what I've discovered over the last little while is that what was really blocking a lot of my movement forward to my big vision, I've got a big vision which I've had for 10 years, and a lot of what was blocking that was me putting my abundance and my success outside of myself and expecting it to come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then getting frustrated when it didn't. And I've now come to the realization that it's all in me, my success, my abundance. It's in here, and then it will show on the outside. And as you know, we teach this. And we're our worst students. But life has really shown up now, and I've now got another story that I can help people with. But, you know, whenever I have put on that entrepreneur's cap, and I'm striving for success, I'm trying to find something outside of myself. And it really has hit home these last couple of months. When I've stepped into this abundance identity, I've now understood that that's who I am. It's not anything that I'm chasing, or any hat that I put on, or anything that I want to be. It's who I am. It's a different... So it's not trying to succeed, it's succeeding as a person. That's the difference. And that has really just shifted everything for me recently. And I feel now, over this next year at least, in my 55th year, there's going to be some profound changes there. And I really feel everything that I've been wanting and manifesting is now kind of coming in because I've stepped back. I've
Yeah.
let go, and I'm actually just really open to receive now. Something that came to me the other day, which I shared with everybody, was that rather than giving something up, you know, letting go and receiving is the better energy. Because when you're giving something up, as you know, and we discussed this in your interview, when you're giving something up, there's a resistance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
If
that's
you
right.
can just let go and receive and just kind of say, okay, I put it in your hands now. It's amazing what lines up, and nothing is random. No encounter, no conversation, no
Yeah.
weird happening, you know, in your home, with your pets, with your car, with your work. Nothing is ever random. However, we're not present to everything, and so we don't see the benefit or the beauty and the gold in all of it. But I've been really present the last couple of weeks, and every interaction has been a miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. And it is an interesting time at the moment. And I'm like similar to you. I'm finding that as well. Like there are blockages. Like the word is appropriate, but it's not the best word. But for now, it'll do. I'm noticing all these blockages coming up for myself as well lately, and very similar to your story in that sense. And it makes me wonder how many other people might be going through that as well, and maybe not even aware that that's what's actually going on. You know, so it's great what you're doing is, you know, people can call on you and you can actually help them through that and unravel those little blockages so that they can see it for themselves and move on from there as well. It's just a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Absolutely, and the people who want that will come, and so this is the other thing that I think a lot of energy workers like ourselves try to do. We try to reach everybody, but not everybody is our customer, and not everybody is ready for the message. And you know, I get that now, and the people, it's my, I say duty, but once again, that's the wrong word. It's my service
Mm,
to share what I'm going through or what I've experienced and how I've turned things around. It's my service to do that because someone will see it and it will help them. And that one person, it could change everything for them. So that's the space that I come from when I don't have that success, entrepreneur, high achievement, got to do this now hat on.
right.
When I take that off and I'm just me being in service, I share solutions that I've found, and the people who need those solutions find me. And
Yeah.
it's so magical. It really is.
And like even just watching you over the years, because we met at the counselling course with beautiful Jodie Marks.
Yeah.
And it was actually quite a while since we actually connected. So we met there, but it took, oh, it was probably a couple of years later where we actually connected.
Yeah.
And it's been really cool watching you grow because your determination is huge,
Yeah.
absolutely huge. Nothing will stop Trish Rock. She'll just keep going and going and going.
Yeah.
And, you know, to all those people out there, like really think about that. Like really think about how much Trish has pushed through so many of her things, you know, even for yourself. Like, I hear you saying these struggles and these things, but watching you from the outside, it's like, this woman's unstoppable. You know, you just
Yeah.
keep going. But not just that, one of the biggest things I really admire about you is how much free service you give.
Yeah.
Not necessarily monetary value, like even just to put together this show, you're helping so many other practitioners who they are. And I've always known you for that. Like I've always known you for helping others and promoting other people as well. Hey, this person does this and this person does this. Like what a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's like like that's it, isn't it? Like that is what this should all be about. Hey, like,
Absolutely. And I love doing that because I see the beauty and the magnificence in people before they see it. And so I like to um, I like to try to get them to see it, I guess. But yeah, helping other people promote their work is wonderful. I really love doing that. There's a lot of people in this industry who do such amazing work but have no self-confidence in themselves, and so to help that really is part of my service too. And this show is about inspiring people. And, you know, out of all the shows I do, there might just be one sentence in one interview that changes something for someone forever. And that's really why I do it. And as you know, in Canberra, I had this kind of format in person, you know, as a meetup group, and I had special guests coming in as well to share their gifts with other people. And you know, this is just a medium that reaches more people, but it's the same thing. And yeah, I love doing it. So you know, this vision that I've had for 10 years, I've never really known what the road is to that vision. But I try a road. If it doesn't work, I try another road. And that's what you were saying, that I don't give up. But look, there are days when I do give up, but I just dust it off and I get back up again because my vision is strong. I know what I'm here to do. I know what makes me feel good. And when you're in service doing what makes you feel good, you actually live that life that you're here to live. It's okay. I need a word for this one, Arthur. What's the feeling of that? It's not.
It's freedom.
It is freedom, isn't it? It is freedom.
Because to be in that space is just such a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it's free of judgment. It's free of you know, chasing something. It's just so neutral, and that's where the gold really is, when you're in that balance of all contrast, and it just gives you that feeling of just bliss. And it's what a lot of the gurus talk about, just that feeling of bliss.
And it can just be with that person you're with right there, or the experience you're having right there. Whereas, you know, when this entrepreneur hat it starts taking over me, I forget about the person that's in front of me right then and there that I could really help. And I try to create something that has 100 people that I can serve.
That's right. Yeah.
And it's the wrong energy. You know, it's not coming from service then, that's coming from a need to succeed, and that's a different energy to the service. And so that has really that has really become obvious to me. So we're just talking before about what's really shifted. A lot of things have shifted for me in the last 10 years. Every day something shifts. I feel that this last few months has been really important for everybody. I'm not an expert on the planets. I'm not an expert on astrology, but I know that the energy of all of that affects all of us. And whether you understand it or not, it affects your life. If you are in the awareness of it affecting your life, you can then choose to feel differently about it on a daily basis. So instead of kind of going, I don't know why I'm feeling so angry or whatever, you can understand, oh, okay, we're in the energy of blah, 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 and I might just feel a little bit tense. Let me just breathe into it and move through it. So that's how I kind of use that energy. But the last couple of months has been really a decluttering for everybody of emotions, feelings, fear, and getting out of our way. So the last few months I've been working on shifting my identity to this abundance identity. And abundance, the word abundance for me is freedom and peace. If you can wake up in the morning, or if you can at any point during the day, just feel really at peace and be able to smile, a genuine kind of, wow, you know, I'm feeling freedom right now. That's abundance to me. And then, of course, the abundance comes in all the external forms too, of friendships, relationships, money, possessions, work, all that kind of thing. But it all starts in here. So I shifted from looking for that evidence on the outside of me a couple of months ago, because that's what I was doing. I was looking for the evidence and it wasn't showing up. And then I would just make my entrepreneurial hat bigger and it still wouldn't show up. And then I get even more frustrated. So I've now gone inwardly, and I've changed to a new persona. I found the abundant persona that is part of me, and I've shifted into it. And everything is kind of changing now to line up with that. And here's what I've discovered. My abundance identity isn't what I thought it was going to be. I had this clear picture in my head, right? When I have that abundant life that I've visioned, this is the work I'll be doing. This is the day I'll be having. This is where I'll be living. This is what I'll be saying, all the rest of it. What's happened though is the universe has changed everything around so that I now have freedom. And it's not in the work I expected. It's not in the way I expected. And I've just had to let it, or haven't had to, I've decided just to let it all go and experience freedom for a little while and really move into that, because I know that freedom and that abundance and that peace that I now feel is going to start showing up in the external as well. But I'm not feeling it with any expectations. I'm feeling it for the feeling of it. And it kind of gets me back to 10 years ago when I got out of an industry that I thought wasn't appreciating my message. And it's actually me not appreciating who I was and what I could do already, and having to make it bigger somehow, or make it, validate it more. I was looking for validation, I guess. And there's freedom when you're not looking to be validated. It's real freedom. I still see social media as a really big playground of validation, and my heart goes out to a lot of people on there who are looking for that validation and not getting it, because it's creating a lot of sadness in people.
Yeah, it is.
You know, despite anything that happens in my life, I like to be on there. Any messages that I put on social media, I am guided to put it on there. And I know that there will be at least one person who needs to see it that day, or a week later, or a year later. So I do it without expectation. And it's that inspiration hat that I now have on again, and I've taken the entrepreneur hat off. And I feel freedom. I feel freedom.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's funny because, like, hearing you talk, it's made me reflect a lot about my recent sort of things as well. And I found there's two sides to it all. One side is in the etheric, you know, starting from here, but then you still physically have to do. But then I think the trick around that is we have an envision of what our goal will look like. You know, the particular job, the particular this, the particular that. But I think the way we create it within our minds, it's so safe that we can't be hurt. It can't be pushed or prodded. It can't be like this. And it's kind of an unrealistic expectation in there as well, because in order for you to achieve those things, you're going to be pushed in that direction that you need to work through in order to have that. And the needing to work through is where we kind of stop, or we freak out, and it's like, no, too uncomfortable. no, that hurts. No, I forgot about that years ago. No, too hard basket.
Yeah.
And then you just stop. Your
Yeah.
dream never, your goal never gets fulfilled because you're not willing to push through that stuff either.
Yeah, we do put
So,
those restrictions around us, don't we? It's like, yeah, this is how I want things to show up because this is the safest, most comfortable route. But the universe will always bring us back, no matter. And you know, sometimes it's with really awful adversity that it will bring us back.
and for me especially, I've had stuff come up that has been huge. Things that I thought I'd worked through. And like I worked through from here, but
Yeah,
then the world is like, well, no, it's still here.
yeah,
What are you going to do about
yeah.
it? What are you going to do about it? And it's like, oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy, isn't it?
We're really getting a light shone on all of those corners where we're keeping things. It's like, okay, it's time to look at
Yeah,
this. Time to look at
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just want to relax. Give me a break.
I know, right? And just when you think you've got it, something else happened. And this happened with me a couple of weeks ago with money. You know, I thought I had a real grip on this money thing, right? Because it is a money thing. Money's just energy. You know, and you know, bringing myself back from nearly being homeless back in 2014, I really thought I had a grip on feeling abundant financially, right?
Yeah,
And then I was brought to my knees again a week or so ago with car issues that just drained every cent that I had.
yeah.
And then one of my tires went flat, and oh my God, I don't know if you saw that story, but I'll
Yeah, I did.
just tell the
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
And
please do, because it's pretty cool.
yeah, it was, and this is the power of really getting to that point of defeat. And I had to be at that point again to get everything. So, yeah, so I was leaving a workplace the other week, and my tire had gone flat. Now my tires have been going flat for the last couple of months. I've got to pump them up every 3 days. And I'm like, just hang in there, just hang in there. I'll get new tires soon. Just hang in there, right? Anyway, so this tire's flat as a tack. I'm like, great. And my particular car doesn't have a spare tire. It's just got a inflatable kit. Anyway, this lovely lady saw me and she stopped and asked if I had roadside service. And I said no. And she stopped and she said, you looked so defeated. I saw you get out of that car. It's going to make me cry. She said, I saw you get out of that car and you just looked beaten. I said, I was. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway, here's where the miracles then became so obvious. So she said, okay, let me help you. And we tried to pump the tire up, and it was as flat as a tack. It's like, no way, it's not going to work. And she said, oh, I have a friend who does tires. And I'm like, okay, great. So she called him. He drove there 20 minutes or 15 minutes. He drove there. Like, these are total strangers. And then he tried to inflate it and he couldn't. And then she said, well, why don't we use my spare tire? And he kind of said, oh, well, that'll be a miracle if it's the same size. Anyway, sure enough, same size. And then I didn't have a spanner, so we had no spanner that fitted. And then a car pulls up next to us, a total stranger again, just going shopping. And the tire guy says, hey, mate, have you got a spanner? Yeah, sure, here it is. Just throw it on top of the car if I'm still in the shops before you go. I'm like, wow, okay. So the spanner fitted, of course. And then I had this lady's spare tire on, and we were all going to go back to his place because he said to me, I've got a tire just like this at my place. Like, yeah. Okay. But then he said, look, let's all, your other side needs a tire too. I can get them for this, stupidly amazing price. Why don't we all meet tomorrow at my place at 4 o'clock? So these total strangers, everything lined up, and they trusted me to take the tire. And then the next day, and then he didn't charge me any labour, and I've just got these 2 new tyres on. And then we found out as soon as the tyres were off that they were totally shredded on the inside. I couldn't see them, and they could have blown at any time. And when a tyre blows, it's different to just having a flat when you're driving. It's, yeah. So there's definitely someone was looking after me, but I needed to get, he's now also got 2 tyres for the back of my car, which is an incredibly stupid price too. So, and the interesting thing is, a week before that, or it might have been the beginning of the week actually, when my car wouldn't start that morning, and I think I popped up on social media, I need a financial miracle. And then, I don't know, I just got some people saying some stuff, so I took that off. But every day as something happened with my car, this miracle unfolded, and I'm like, wow, I have had a financial miracle, and my car is now working with safe tyres, and I have afforded it. And everything has just lined up so beautifully. And so this is what it has taught me, that you know, I had to be, rock bottom isn't the word, defeated, and what was there was another word I said then as well, that really, really defeated, because that's when your resistance just goes. I had no resistance at all. You know, like just even when that guy just showed up with the spanner, I'm like, wow, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
How miracles happen. But what it has taught me is that money isn't the issue here. I'm the issue, and it's not the amount of money that I make. It's the respect I have for it and what I do with it, and that has really shifted everything for me. And now the universe has slotted everything into place. You know, it's really interesting. I thought I had learnt that abundance and that financial lesson back in 2014, and I think I had, because I lifted out of it. But as you say, that we're always shining the lights in the corners of what's still there. And freedom also for me is having financial stability. And I haven't had that for 10 years.
Yeah.
And not because I haven't been earning money.
Yeah. Yeah, money's a funny one. I still struggle with the money one too. Yeah, it's terrible. But I think it should
because whether I've got money or whether I haven't felt financially stable. So it's just really interesting and I didn't understand that, but now I understand it. So the whole thing, but truly a week of miracles, because I got out of my own way. And I think that's what started this conversation. You know, we have to get out of our own way. And people say that all the time, just get out of your own way. It's like, but you know, what do you need? Do you need to be defeated? Do you need to be in a car accident? Do you need to have your house burned down? Do you need a really big adversity for you to get out of your own way, or can you just choose it?
I think initially we need that big adversity just to realise the other side.
Yeah.
Unless you're really gifted with the other side and you can see it already. Yeah, that's an interesting point, hey? But just think about your situation, like hearing your story, it's like, it's just a good testament to what you do for other people as well.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what's really cool about that is you look after so many people just because.
And things always come back, don't they? You know, we've had a conversation about this with someone the other day, actually. We give and we expect to receive from that person or in that same way, but it doesn't work that way. I got gifted a beautiful deck of handmade cards this morning from a friend of mine here, and really it was just a thank you for all the stuff I put out on social media for her, because it helped her. So it does come back in really interesting ways.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, a good friend of mine's been using the word reciprocity. Is that how you say it?
Okay, yeah. Reciprocal?
Yeah, Oh, can you say it for me?
Reciprocity. I don't know. I can't say it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah. And like what's cool about that word is that there is a really healthy exchange going on, but that exchange doesn't have a value. It doesn't have a monetary value. You know, it doesn't have a weight in gold. It just is what your level, what your weight of gold is worth versus what my weight of gold is worth is very different.
Yeah.
Very different. You know, just imagine like just hearing you talking then about your story, you know, it put you in tears.
Yeah.
When what happened, a couple of people helped you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's ultimately what happened. But how much did that gold mean to you? It was
Absolutely.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can find that in every conversation. This is what I was saying before. You know, I was trying to find it from outside of that, but the gold is in every conversation. The gold is in every encounter, and it's in everything you do. If you're really being out of service, it absolutely comes back to you. And I know a lot of stuff is coming back to you now because you've been of service for quite some time now with without the expectation of anything in return. And I know that's coming back to you now too. And it's this beautiful cycle. And this is what, you know, both of us try to help people with as well, because people get so stuck on, my life's not going to be any good until this happens, or this person has to apologize, or this person has to do this or give this. It's like, no, that's just blocking you. You know, how can you feel what you want to feel right now, no matter what that other person does? And that's really what I love, that change of perception in people. It's incredible. It's like a miracle unfolding when it happens. Some people get it immediately. Other people, it's like a day later or a week later, they go, oh, I get it. And it changes everything. That brings me so much joy, and it brings me so much, it's my purpose. It's kind of like, wow, okay. I feel like I've served. I've kind of got this oh, it's hard to describe, isn't it? It's hard to describe when you're in that feeling of service and just feeling so much bliss and joy that you've been able to help somebody else with something to bring them into more awareness, more consciousness.
Gratitude, that feeling of gratitude. Yeah. Because it's not about and the funny thing about gratitude is it's not a projection. It's a realization.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, people that try and find gratitude in things aren't actually showing gratitude for it, because they're having to make themselves feel that gratitude.
Yeah.
But then when that gratitude appears on its own, what a beautiful thing.
Freedom as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's true. That's true freedom, to feel that gratitude. And yeah. And so, you know, that little episode last week has not only showed me that, you know, the universe is grateful for how I serve, but that, you know, I'm grateful not only for the whole unfolding of miracles, but now I've got something, a story that I can tell other people to show them that miracles do happen. And this is how they happen. It's not a big kind of light through the clouds kind of moment, right?
Oh, really? That's what I thought it was. Oh, I'm really disappointed. Yeah. I want my money back.
Because they happen to us every day, don't they? They happen to us every day, these miracles.
Yeah. Well, we could go on for ages.
I know, right? We better wind it up.
All right. So, Trish Rock.
Yeah.
What does Trish have coming up in the future? Promote yourself. What do we got?
This is my 55th year, and it's going to be a good one. So, I've been journaling and writing down everything that's happened to me over the last few months as I've been stepping into this new identity. I've created some fabulous tools and a great way forward for people, whether it's an abundance kind of freedom identity that people want to step into, or whether it's a better health, you know, whatever wherever you are now, it's that thing that you want. It's the better health, the more freedom, the living your passion, a better relationship. It's getting you from here and not taking you on a journey to find the new. It's actually stepping into that version of yourself and creating new normals. That's really what I've created here. So that's really how I'm working with people now. I also do readings for people, although they're not normal kind of, you know, psychic readings. They're more you get the messages you need kind of readings. And I'm also going to have my Abundance Identity book out this year as well. So lots of things. I'll be writing that book and teaching it, and that's really going to put me into that vision that I've had for 10 years. And I think this is getting out of my own way has been the final chapter. It's really interesting. When you're writing a book, if it's a personal book, each chapter is you've got to live it. And this is kind of my final chapter, is getting out of my own way. So there's the miracle in it all. And I'll be able to include this beautiful interview with you as well. And thank you so much. But that's it. 55, a year of changes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so well deserved. And
Thank you.
I think, the support coming your way in the near future, I think, is going to be a little different than what you would normally expect.
Yeah, I think it will too, because you know what? I've let go of anything that really doesn't mean that much to me. Yeah. I've let go of anything that I think I should be doing, and I'm now free to be doing what feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It's funny how little things like pain can really block us, when really it's just a different kind of voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a different kind of voice, and it just has a different way of saying things.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely. So, people can connect with me on my website at TrishRock.com. My programs are there. My readings are there. All my blogs and my work are there. I also write for a couple of publications, which is really exciting. And all of those links are there too. So my little web of inspiring people kind of is weaving its way around the world.
And so it should. You've got some wonderful people on your show, and some of the stories that I've heard through some of these people, it's the struggles that they've gone through as well. The writer, the man that was doing the writing, and he lost how many copies of his book?
I know, right?
The poor guy. Like, on one hand, I laugh so hard, but imagine being him and having all those things occur. What was his name? I can't remember his name.
That's my beautiful friend John Spender, and he's now onto his 16th or 17th book. Yeah, it's incredible.
Like, go figure. Like, if he wasn't defeated by the first 3 times.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's just amazing. And just all the different guests you have, like the uniqueness and their own stories. And beautiful work you're doing, Trish.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So,
awesome.
Should we wrap it up?
Yep. All right.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Trish Rock Show with our special, beautiful guest, Trish Rock. The details and links will be in the comments sections.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you so much, Arthur. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I look forward to seeing you next week for another episode of Trish Rock TV. Thank you.